guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Good to have you here today. We're talking NVIDIA. The stock's underperforming the Mag 7. I mean, it's still up over 160% this year. It's had a good run. I think people are freaking out a little bit much on this. But are you guys seeing any weakening data that's kind of reflective of what we've seen since hitting those all-time highs last month? Because it seems like if you listen to the tech companies, they're not pulling back on any purchases of NVIDIA products at this point.
Yeah, I think that you're exactly right. And you make a good point. You know, I came in today and I'm looking at my notes and I'm ready to talk about this pullback in NVIDIA with a caveat that it's still up over 170% year to date, right? So this is a company that's absolutely dominating its sector and really AI at large. And we don't see many signs of weakness here other than a couple of concerns of antitrust concerns in China and potentially some delay in production concerns. But from a consumer perspective and from a user perspective of its actual technology and GPUs, we see demand continuing to build and grow when we look at web visits, which is probably the best indicator for us because a lot of consumers aren't necessarily talking about NVIDIA's products on social media, but you can see NVIDIA really beating its competitors. It's interesting here to see AMD starting to gain some steam. I think that could potentially be another story that maybe the market isn't expecting, but we do see NVIDIA continuing to fire on all cylinders. We see a lot of traction and a lot of speculation about the impact of its Blackwell GPUs, especially in 2025. And so we think that that's a really important segment to watch. From our perspective, conversations and consumer searches related to that Blackwell series continue to rise year over year, especially heading into next year. So I think that that will be a big driver next year for NVIDIA. But for us, this pullback really is a gift for long-term investors. We expect this company and this stock to continue much higher in 2025.
Investors have received a year full of records, achievements, and milestones from NVIDIA. The leading designer of artificial intelligence, AI, Chips has been invited to join the esteemed Dow Jones Industrial Average and has posted its highest revenue ever quarter after quarter. Furthermore, according to NVIDIA, demand for their latest Blackwell architecture is skyrocketing. In addition, the tech giant's stock has increased by around 160% this year, making it the Dow's top performer. NVIDIA appears to be the ideal stock to purchase in order to profit from the ongoing AI boom. The business owns 80% of the market for AI chips and has developed a whole line of associated goods and services. NVIDIA is well positioned to profit from the $200 billion AI business that is expected to grow to over $1 trillion by the end of the decade. However, when is the best time to purchase NVIDIA stock? Indeed, any remarks made by the business regarding its advancements, the overall demand for its goods, or the status of the Blackwell launch could cause the stock to move. And that brings to mind a certain occasion that is approaching on January 6, 2025. Is it wise to purchase NVIDIA stock prior to that date? Let's start with a brief overview of NVIDIA's current trajectory. In the past, this tech giant's graphics processing units, GPUs, were mostly used to power video games. However, their multitasking capabilities made them perfect for other fields as well, namely artificial intelligence. Additionally, they immediately gained popularity among AI consumers due to their speed. With a gross margin of over 70%, this has led to triple-digit revenue growth in the majority of the most recent quarters, with revenue hitting a record of over $35 billion in the most recent period. This indicates that NVIDIA makes a lot of money from sales. NVIDIA has made smart investments, as seen by its return on invested capital, ROIC, during the last several years. It's time to think about CES 2025, also known as the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, which is scheduled for January 6, and at which NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang will deliver the keynote address. Then from January 7 to January 10, NVIDIA will meet with analysts and journalists and be on the show floor, allowing participants to witness how the business powers both current and future products. NVIDIA has already given CES attendees an advanced glimpse at its technology. A report from Tech, which cites NVIDIA partner Inno3D, indicates that NVIDIA may display AI advances like neural rendering in the consumer gaming GPU market. However, the chip giant has not given any indications of what it would reveal this time around. So, what implications does this have for NVIDIA's stock? Let's explore that. But first, a big thank you to those of you who've stuck with us this far. Creating these videos takes significant effort and dedication, so if you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts on NVIDIA stock in the comments. Your support truly helps us grow. Now let's get back to the video.
It's interesting. On today's lows, the stock was down about $20, $152, actually $25 from its all-time high. The bears out there, the voices are getting a little louder, as you know, about all the problems at NVIDIA, and what they don't realize, or what they may be getting wrong, is where we are in the AI cycle. And as we get to winners and losers in the AI cycles, which we're starting to see Adobe and some other stocks that aren't competing as well in AI, but NVIDIA is secretariat in this race. And like your graphic mentions, they're extending their lead. They've got the Blackwell chip just starting to roll out here. They've got another one ready. They got the Rubin chip waiting in the wings for another one. Their financials are great. Revenue growth, unbelievable. Profitability, of course. Cash flow, yes. And yet it's corrected kind of nicely here. Well, what am I missing, Megan? I mean, is there anyone really competing against us? We thought maybe it's Broadcom, right? It's starting to mention, but they do a different thing than NVIDIA does.
Even while NVIDIA's data center business now accounts for the majority of its sales, it's important to remember that in the most recent quarter, its video game sector saw a 15% growth in revenue, reaching $3.3 billion. Thus, this market continues to be a strong one for the company's growth. Huang might potentially be questioned by reporters or analysts over the Blackwell launch at CES, since NVIDIA provided a thorough update at its results report on November 20. I wouldn't anticipate any significant news, but even a quick remark regarding demand or the performance of the stock may be impacted by the product release. Demand for Blackwell, a platform that can be customized with over 7 different chips, networking options, and more, has been insane. Huang recently said in a CNBC interview, "Let's return to the query now. Is it wise to purchase NVIDIA before January 6? If you've been considering purchasing NVIDIA stock, you might want to do so before the event, as there's a chance that the stock will increase during or after CES due to optimism about the company's advances. Short-term price fluctuations, however, won't affect your returns over a period of, say, 5 or 10 years if you're a long-term investor. This implies that it's not necessary to jump on NVIDIA before CES. Because of NVIDIA's market leadership, innovation, and the strong growth potential of the AI business, you're still likely to make money in the long term if you purchase the stock before or after the presentation. We'll examine NVIDIA's position in relation to the other equities Jim Cramer recently discussed. Wall Street has now entered a new paradigm following the conclusion of the Federal Reserve's December meeting. In a widely expected action, the central bank lowered interest rates by 25 basis points, but it also hinted that there would be fewer rate cuts in 2025 than many had expected. Since the central bank's median 2025 inflation outlook is 2.5%, which is higher than the previous 2.1%, investors are not only certain that the Fed will cut less in 2025, but some even think that interest rates may be raised. We'll examine NVIDIA's position in relation to the other equities Jim Cramer recently discussed. Wall Street has now entered a new paradigm following the conclusion of the Federal Reserve's December meeting. In a widely expected action, the central bank lowered interest rates by 25 basis points, but it also hinted that there would be fewer rate cuts in 2025 than many had expected. Since the central bank's median 2025 inflation outlook is 2.5%, which is higher than the previous 2.1%, investors are not only certain that the Fed will cut less in 2025, but some even think that interest rates may be raised. To stay informed about the latest developments from NVIDIA and the ever-changing stock market, consider subscribing to our investing tutorial channel. We provide daily updates on significant market shifts and key catalysts. So hit that subscribe button to ensure you never miss crucial information. We'd love to hear your thoughts on NvidiaStock, so please share your opinions in the comments below. Now, let's dive into today's video.
NVIDIA has really created its own class. It is so far above competition that, for a while we said, okay, maybe AMD can start to compete. Maybe, consumers are clamoring to get their hands on some of their products. But really, it's just because maybe they couldn't afford or maybe they couldn't get their hands on the real NVIDIA product that they wanted. And so there's a really large gap between first place and second place across the board. And whenever you think of NVIDIA, how do you define its competitors? It has its hand in so many different sectors, from data centers to even this mini computer that it just pushed out that will help expand AI capabilities to a lot of small businesses. I think the price tag on that is like $250. So it has a product for seemingly everyone, and it also appears to always be a step ahead of what is driving tech advancements. And so this is a company in a really good spot, and pullbacks like this, like I said, this is what we see, and this is like a Christmas gift for investors almost, it feels like.
So Megan, based on that, have you guys been pounding, like the stock was down 16% from those all-time highs. Yeah. If you had an earnings score on this one now, it's got to be positive then, right?
Yes, it would be bullish. This is one of those names just from the macro trends. And as Kevin mentioned, we think we're still very early in the ultimate AI cycle, at least for NVIDIA. And so we see a lot of growth opportunity from here. And any pullbacks that we see are buying opportunities. And this is one that we're certainly bullish on in the long term, and especially in 2025.
All right, bullish data. All right.
Big tech is obsessed with NVIDIA's AI GPUs, which are the AI GPU darling of Wall Street. However, its GPUs, especially the most recent Blackwell lineup, have also raised concerns among investors. Some analysts predict that large tech companies like Amazon may be compelled to move to either custom chips or products from Broadcom or Marvell due to the strong demand, limited availability, and high cost of NVIDIA's GPUs. Cramer isn't buying any of this, since he is certain that there will always be a large market for NVIDIA's products. Early Friday saw a 2% increase in NVIDIA shares after the company's price fell more than 15% from its peak due to recent challenges to the leader in artificial intelligence chips. Due to pressure, shares have dropped below the 50-day moving average, which is a crucial level of support. On Tuesday of last week, NVIDIA ended an almost 3-month period above the benchmark by dropping below it for the first time since September 12. NVIDIA's graphic shows that this week's activity was a breakout failure. The stock peaked at 152.89 after breaking out at the buy point of 140.76 in October, but it is currently more than 7% below that level. Stocks should ideally climb after breaking out of bases rather than move sideways. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.